How's it going on? Welcome back to the channel. So on today's video, we're just going to be doing a 1-year update on the 2023 Honda Accord. So currently the 2024 model years are already out. So we're just going to cover some of the things, some of the issues I've seen over the last year or so. And if you have one of these cars, you plan on purchasing one, make sure you watch this video. So I'm not going to do anything like a USB count or anything like that. This is going to see common issues that I'm starting to see, some recalls, etc. So once again, if you have one of these vehicles, whether you had a good or a bad experience, make sure you do drop a comment down below with anything you have seen or noticed or liked or disliked, so everybody could feed off of that and make an informed decision if you plan on buying one of these cars. So a couple things. We have had some recalls on this car. A couple of them being inspection. So one of them being the block inspection on the hybrids. Now, if it passes the inspection, then you don't have to do anything else at that point. And we haven't had the case to replace any blocks just yet. So same thing with the transmission. There's also an inspection we have to do, and we haven't had to replace any of those transmissions just yet either. So that is good. We have had the recall where we have to look at the seatbelts here, and we basically apply some force on this and just make sure it passes the test. Again, we've done a bunch of them, and we haven't had any need to replace any of those seatbelts, which is good. So it's very low failure rate of those seatbelts. So once again, just something we have to do, just an inspection, but most of them seem to be passing in a very, very low fail rate. So some issues that we have been seeing. So here in front of me, we have a 1.5T. And I talked about this when I first did my introduction video on the car, some thoughts, some issues I thought the car may have. So we do see a lot of rodent damage. Now, typically it's either disconnector here or this cylinder number 4 coil wire right over here. And the rodents just seem to be attracted to these two connectors on basically all 1.5Ts, which is exactly what we have here. So on the Accord 2.0 hybrid, there is actually a cover which solves a lot of those issues, and we have not seen any of those issues with the Accord 2.0 hybrid. So with the 1.5T, obviously everything is very exposed over here and very accessible to these rodents. So we do see it pretty often, and what we do is we repair it and then we apply some anti-rodent tape. I'm not sure why Honda doesn't do this, whether it's costs, there's some EPA implications, or whatever the case may be, but what they could have done is just put a engine cover. Not only would that protect it from rodents and animals like that, but it'll also reduce some engine noise, which people do complain about. We all know that direct injections are fairly loud just from some of the components versus a normal older engine. So that is something we see pretty often. We are also starting to see a big wave of these radars being stolen. Now, I do have some brackets that I am working on. I have them for the previous generation Accords, previous generation CRVs, and the current CRVs, and I'm working on having these radar brackets for these Accords. So they pop out real easy, and you take out the bracket, and obviously people steal that because it's very costly to replace them after an accident, and people will be people and thieves will be thieves, and just it's obviously easier to go and take one versus having to purchase a new one. So something very common, and that's going to be area based, as well as the issue here with the rodents, because obviously this happens more in city-like environments. If you park near a restaurant or a dumpster or anything like that, chances are you're going to be more susceptible to those damages. So other than that, I love the space that they gave us versus the previous generation Accords. There's an abundance of space here to work on, which is nice. We haven't seen any head gasket issues just yet, but I'm going to be making a video on that and why I think it will continue on these 1.5Ts in the near future. But you're going to have to wait a couple weeks on that. And if you have one of these cars, anything 1.5T is probably something you're going to want to watch. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on that video. We haven't seen any issues with the 1.5T. Now on the 2.0 hybrid, which I don't have with me here today, we have seen some issues with the injectors failing, staying stuck open. I believe we had 3 or 4 different cars already, and you usually get a misfire code, and we have to go ahead and replace injectors at that time. Now that is a trend for sure we are seeing. So if that continues to have an uptick, I'll make a video dedicated to that. We've also not seen here personally, but between talking from different technicians from other dealers across the nation and North America, some pistons cracking on the 2.0 hybrid. So again, I had not seen that anything here like that, but if that I do come across one of those engines, I will most likely make a video on that as well. So some other issues is when you go to update, or tells you it has an update in the display, at times it won't do it. So there are some software updates for that, and you just go in there and sometimes reset the CAN bus system and it's good to go. Other times you have to go ahead and reset and do some software updates. So not a big deal, but we do see that with the hybrids under 32 degrees Fahrenheit. There's also software update. You'll get a PO700 code and some vibration. So just a software glitch. Again, there is a fix for that as well. So very simple stuff for the most part. A lot of software updates for that. So we haven't seen any wheel theft like that CRV down there, but I'm sure there is some wheel theft going on, especially with the nicer looking wheels. This is a lower trim vehicle, so you know, pretty basic here. We haven't seen anything with cracked taillights or anything like that, like the other vehicles that are causing some wacky issues. But again, the car's fairly new and at this point is doing fairly well. So inside here, again, this is only an EX, so pretty basic interior. Now, I spoke about this when I did my initial video as well, and I have seen one fell already. So people drop breadcrumbs, fluids, drinks, etc. in here, end up damaging these switches, making them sticky, and eventually leading to replacement. So this will not be covered by warranty. It's something that I expect to happen pretty often, considering that cup holders here, you're going to grab the cup, drink, put it back. It might splash if you have an open lid type of cup and cause some damage here. They could have easily put these switches maybe over here, which would have been a better design in my opinion, but it is what it is, and all we could do is try to be careful at this point to try to avoid some of these damages. Another thing we are seeing is some HVAC boxes needing to be replaced, causing a certain noise with certain positions, with you know, the HVAC selected in a certain kind of position. We've seen a trend of that. I believe we have 3 or 4 different vehicles come in for that, and they are on back order. So slowly but surely we are replacing those. But obviously not too big of a deal, although it could get annoying, and takes you know, maybe about an hour to 2 hours to change out the box. Relatively simple setup. We just have to remove the glove box here, and it is behind there. Once that's done, we'll make sure the noises are gone and the customer is satisfied with the repair. All right, so other than that, these cars are great in my opinion. People are overall happy with them. Obviously, we're going to have issues here and there, but overall, we've had some pretty positive feedback on these cars. You know, first gear glitches are pretty common. So the fact that there's all these small, you know, repairs that we have to be doing, a lot of software updates. The only thing that would really concern me would be obviously something with the engine. You know, one of the pistons cracking or something like that. An injector failing obviously will leave you on the side of the road potentially. So other than that, hopefully that's just some first year glitches. Honda gets their act together moving forward and we are good to go. I think the car looks subpar in my opinion. It's very safe design, but you know, it should probably age well as well, being that it's so safe and not super out there. So again, if you have one of these vehicles, make sure you do drop a comment down below with any negative or positive feedback, maybe some issues you've been having, or you know, whatever the case may be, just so everybody in the market for one of these cars could go ahead and make an informed decision. So with that being said, I'll catch everyone on the next one.